Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now this one is called 10 Most Important Albums in My Collection. And how it came about was whenever I was doing the Music for Pleasure albums video, I mentioned that this was one of my top 10 most important albums in my collection, because this is the one that actually really got me back into music. It got me into really discovering Mark Bolan. I had a few of his singles before, but this was what really got me exploring his back catalogue, or what I could get at the time of his back catalogue. So that was always my number one most important album. Simple little album, Ride a White Swan. So what I thought I'd do, could I get 9 others? So what are the other 9 albums I think are really important? So the first one, or the second one, is David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars. How this came about was whenever I was getting the Mark Bolan material, only the Fly Cube material was available. All the EMI had been deleted, apart from a couple of greatest hits like Solid Gold T-Rex and The Unobtainable T-Rex. So I couldn't go any further, and I said to my brother, who else should I listen to? And he said, David Bowie. Now I know he had Aladdin Sane, but he had sold it, and I had one Bowie single, which was Life on Mars, which I bought when I was 7 years old, and I asked which album should I get, and he directed me towards this, and I just loved it. And within, I think, about 2 or 3 days, I bought Hunky Dory, and then I just carried on buying. And I can actually remember the order. Now this is around June 1980. This was the first, Hunky Dory was the second. I think Low was the third, Station to Station was the fourth, Heroes was the fifth, Scary Monsters was the sixth, which I got because I was supposed to have gone to a snooker contest with Alex Higgins playing somebody or other in a local theatre, and I got the chicken pox, and my father says, look, can I get you anything? Thinking a big load of sweets, and I said, you can buy me an LP. So I went down and bought me the new David Bowie album, Scary Monsters, and I think the one after that was Space Oddity, and after that I can't remember. But yeah, very important album, brilliant album, as you all know. Starman, Rock and Roll Suicide, 5 Years, Moonage Daydream, Ziggy Stardust, Suffragette City, excellent stuff. And the third album is ABBA's Greatest Hits, which was released in 1976. Now this features 3 number 1s, Fernando, Mamma Mia and Waterloo. 1 other top 10 hit, SOS, and 2 other minor hits, I Do, I Do, I Do, I Do, I Do, and Ring Ring, and the rest were not hits, so it's a bit weird calling it a greatest hits. However, this sold by the bucket load, and this was the first album in our household to have 2 copies, because one had a skip, it was probably just a little bit of dirt, and we bought another one, and then the skip disappeared, and they were both my brothers, and he gave me this. Now he gave me this near the end of 1980 when he got a new stereo system, so he gave me the old one, and I played this to death. I absolutely love this album. It's the best of the first 3 albums, and when I say the best of, I mean it. These are the best tracks from those first 3 albums, Ring Ring, Waterloo and ABBA. And the Ring Ring songs had never been released in Britain before, so they're actually down as 1976 I believe, or 1975 rather than 1973. So fantastic album, and very, very important one. This is not the same copy. I bought a new one. Another one is completely trashed. A similar one is Simon and Garfunkel's Greatest Hits, which my mother had, and I was exploring in more music. My brother was Bob Dylan. This was the only Paul Simon we had, and I was playing this a lot because he was playing Bob Dylan. And I thought, right, I'm going to start buying the Simon Garfunkel albums. This is the best Simon Garfunkel album. You may get ones with 60 songs on it, well you won't, because I don't even think they did 60 songs, 40 songs on it, but this works so well with the live material. There's about 3 live versions in here as well, and the Homeward Bound version is far better than the studio. Absolutely fantastic album, and this is up there in the top 10 most important albums for me. Number 5 is not actually an album, it's 6 singles that I bought from my brother's best friend way back in 1981. and they are The Jam in the City. They're all by The Jam, by the way. Strange Town, The Modern World, When You're Young, Start, and Going Underground, the double pack. Now the reason I bought them is because I absolutely love Going Underground. Absolutely loved it. Never bought it because by that time I wasn't really buying any records. I was just looking for T-Rex stuff, but I absolutely loved it. And I also liked Start, even though I did know that it was a rip-off of Taxman. And I liked In the City because I remember hearing that way back in 1977, whenever a friend of mine, his father ran a blue lamp disco, and we were able to play some records, and we kept it in the barn. It was a farm, that rhymes, and In the City was one of them. So I thought I'd have a go at this. Well, I bought these singles, I played them, and I was absolutely hooked. Really hooked. I played these constantly. My favourite turned out to be When You're Young. So I started looking out for the albums, and I went on to buy all the Jam albums. I couldn't get Setting Suns on vinyl. I had to buy it on tape, and it was dreadful. I finally got it on album, and then I managed to get all the other singles through ordering, because a lot of them are still available, and there was a couple I didn't have in picture sleeve, but in 1983 they were all released in picture sleeve, so I managed to get the picture sleeves for them. So that's The Jam at number 5. At number 6, and this album here, The Smiths' debut. Now, with The Smiths I had bought This Charming Man and What Difference Does It Make, and those two singles absolutely blew my mind. But this was their first album, and I bought it on the day of release. I was so looking forward to it, but I was a little bit nervous that I thought it might be crap. You know, just the singles were good and the album was crap. But no, this was absolutely brilliant. It's now my second favourite Smiths album. I'm not going to say I love every song off this, because there's one I don't. The song Miserable Lie, I've never gelled with that at all. And Pretty Girls Make Braves is okay, but the rest of it is stellar. And I remember taping this, playing it in the car hundreds of times. Absolutely loved it. So this is a really important one for me. And I followed the Smiths right up till they finished in 1987, buying every single on the week of release. This one here is Nick Lowe's Cowboy Outfit. Very important album, but it's not my favourite, and in fact it's one of his worst. But the reason I put this up high is because whenever I was a student at college, I went to the library and borrowed the tape of this. I don't know why, because I had Jesus for Cool and I'd sold it to buy Iggy Pop's The Idiot. I still think Jesus for Cool is a better album though, but still. And a few of these songs really struck home, like Half a Boy and Half a Man, God's Gift to Women, Breakaway. Those three in particular I thought were great. And whenever I moved to Jersey for the holidays, actually a working holiday at 1989, summer of 89, and there was a music exchange shop and all his albums were about £1. Picked them all up and I just became a massive Nick Lowe fan. So this was the starter for me, Nick Lowe's Cowboy Outfit. This one here, Sparks Kimono My House, I bought in an indoor market. I bought it because of This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us. I hadn't heard the song in years. I already had the single Amateur Hour, it was the only Sparks I had. But yeah, I thought, well, I'll go for it. It's only about £1.50. Good lord, this was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, the whole album. And it made me want to go and search out the Sparks stuff. Now in the 86 all Sparks material had been deleted, so it was extremely difficult to get. And I remember getting Indiscreet over in, it was either South Shields or Newcastle when I was visiting a friend. Propaganda, I've told the story about that before. And the other one was Big Beat, which I managed to get in, was actually got it in that music exchange in Jersey, and it's still the same copy that I have. So you know, I wasn't able to pick this stuff up straight away. I've been buying it for years, and this was the one that started it off in 1986, Kimono My House. And number 9 is Jim Reeves' 12 Songs of Christmas. Now this is my favourite Christmas album. This just reminds me of family. It reminds me of Christmas whenever I was a kid. You used to hear this coming from the town hall speakers whenever you were Christmas shopping in those dark cold afternoons in December way back in the 70s. Absolutely love this, and I still play this every year. This is not the copy that we originally had. Ours was on a Green International label, which I don't like. But this one is actually an original, and it was very, very, very cheap. I think this only cost me $1.99, and it's in absolute perfect condition. And the last one, I'm going to put this in, and this is all about heartache. And this is Deep Purple, Machine Head. You don't often see me showing heavy rock albums. Whenever I was 14, in 1980, near the end of 1980, I got a girlfriend. And at the start of 1981, she dumped me. And that's the first time I ever felt any sort of heartache whatsoever. I couldn't listen to my own music, which was Bowie and T-Rex and the ABBA and a bit of the Beatles, a bit of Bob Dylan. It was just doing it, nothing for me. I couldn't even concentrate on it, so I went down to my brother's room. I lifted this up. I knew Smoke on the Water. I played Smoke on the Water, and I played the whole album. And this tended to make me forget about this certain girl, which I won't mention, but yeah, and I absolutely love this album. Not just because of that, I just actually think it's a fantastic album. But I remember at the time the one song I kept playing over and over again was Pictures of Home, and it's my favourite song off this. So it sneaks into the top 10 as most important albums, The Cure for Heartbreak. So Machine Head by Deep Purple. Okay, so there's 10 of my most important albums. Do you have any most important albums? If you want to respond to this, by all means, it would be great to see, or make comments below. But I just thought I'd throw that one out. Okay, that's me for now. All the best now. Bye bye.